all of you. Thank you so much for joining day 12 of LinkedIn Live. Today we will go on and talk a lot more about how to be job ready in an LLM era, how to use ChatGPT, and if anyone individual be using LLMs, how can you go on and be ahead of it to be job ready. So with that, let's go on, get started. Yes. So now, hi, myself Sufi. Uh, so let's go on. Yeah. So now try to understand that. Hi, myself Sufi. Thank you so much for joining. It's a quite chilly afternoon over here in California. Over here in America. I hope if you're watching or if you're joining live from India, Southeast Asia, and UAE region, thank you so much for joining. And few of you have been here in California. Thank you so much. Let's go on and talk a little bit about if someone will be going and having a conversation in an interview. And if you guys remember that Meta has recently announced that you guys can go on and use LLMs during interviews, and after that many of the companies has been following. Now, how to be job ready in this era? How can you go on and get started your job search and become the powerhouse which will go on and transfer your learnings in a way it should not looks like LLMs, and in a way it should go on and help you to get your desired outcomes. Now, let me just go on and tell you one thing. Suppose you have worked on a specific dashboard and you have been using that dashboard for quite a long time now. What is happening is that dashboard is getting automated, and a lot of the particular insight which is being generated is not by the human but by the LLMs. That's what has been happening. I have been talking and I have been mentoring a lot of learners, and they'll be like, I take out a screenshot, put it up on the chat GPT, and they give me the solution and they give me the decision making power. I'm like, this is what I'm going to go on and talk in your interviews. He was like, obviously, I did that. I'm like, the moment they will go on, they will put it up. You did that. Don't you think hiring manager will go on and understand that particular part that you have been using ChatGPT because he himself might be using it correct? So, anyways, come back to the point. I'll give you let's go on and understand what you should go on and do that in such kind of scenarios when you're preparing for your job. Uh, I have been doing, like, I was in Stanford recently, Stanford University. I met a professor, and she told me that, and I asked her, "Can you go on and tell me how do you prepare individuals or learners or students to be data ready or tech ready?" And they'll be like, the moment they start working and we know that they're going to go on and get started with their journey in corporate, we always go on and emphasizes them not kind of work or kind of skill sets they have or kind of frameworks they have used to solve a problem. The only emphasizes which we do go on and use is why you are using what you are using. And I think that is what I always go on and share during my coaching sessions and my mentoring sessions, that I think this is something which you guys need to go on and understand why you are doing what you are doing. Now, what does that mean? So try to understand this scenario that there's a person A and there's a person B. Now, both of them have been using the same dashboard. Let's consider the dashboard. Now, they go on and they put that particular dashboard into the LLMs, and they how so now try to understand the science behind how do they go on and give the uh, output, and what is the human intervention and where you guys can go on and have an edge. Person A went and put it up the LLMs. Now, i- in person A went and uploaded the LLMs. Sorry, person A went. Just give me a moment. Yeah, so try to understand that individual A is basically going and uploading the dashboard on LLMs, and individual B also going and uploading the LLMs on the dashboards. Uploading dashboard on the LLM. I'm so sorry for the hiccups. Start. Individual A have the dashboard, uploaded that dashboard on the chat GPT. Individual B also have the same dashboard and uploaded on the chat GPT. Now, the first iteration comes when you write it down the prompt. So now how depth and how accurate your prompt is, on the basis of that the LLM will go on and give you the output. Now the first output when the LLM will give you, that is basically a very generic one. So for an example, it will talk about XYZ things, and over here it will talk a lot more about X, Y, and A things. Now both of the individuals, the output would be 80% or 70% similar and 30% what you have LLM trained on. Correct? That's one. Now in this, there are the concept which is basically called depth and breadth comes into the picture. Now what does that mean? So for an example, it will give you a first try to understand, it will go on and give you a very generic output. Now from there, and you write down a prompt, that is also impact, but generic means 60 to 70% it would be similar. Now the second point is, the moment it gives you the output, the both the individuals, now you go on and you check what is the output, and on the basis of what is resonating a lot more with the individual, they go on and they ask the particular answer, or they go more detailed from there. Now after that, what will happen, the more curious you are, you go much deeper into it. So that's where the breadth, and then go into the depth. Now in this, both of them have uploaded the same dashboard, but the kind of over here the experience and the kind of problems you have solved comes very handy. The reason behind that is, over here it's not only about what kind of questions you are asking after the first iteration, it's more about what is resonating a lot more with you. And that is where the concept converting business problem into a data problem comes into the picture. Now what does that particular thing mean? So for an example, I always teach during my coaching session that you need to know how to convert your data problem into, how to convert your business problem into a data problem, meaning like I'm getting a high return, this is a business problem, I'm getting 18% of returns compared to the previous quarter where I was having only 10% of return. This is the data problem. Now, the moment you guys understand how to convert the business problem into a data problem, correct, and then take that particular thing further, that is where you are going to go on and win. Now, in an interview, come back to the LLM examples. Over here, in the particular LLM, what you're going and doing is you'll be like, okay, I am catching this particular thing up, and now I can go on and I can solve a lot more problem. Now, this stage where you have one, two, or three iterations, that is where your critical thinking and your design thinking comes into the picture very much. That is where your and all those things comes with the kind of problems you have solved and the kind of frameworks you have already used. That is the reason, and the kind of data understandings you have and the kind of business understandings you have. So that is the reason that is what I have always discussed. We are moving from execution based process to the thinking and designing based processes. For an example, going and discussing about executions, going and discussing about executions, you have LLMs now. You have to think and design problems. So that is the reason, if you can go on and discuss a lot more around how you guys can go on and work with the problem solving skills, becomes much more relevant now. Now, you might have seen that there are a lot of layoffs are happening. The layoffs are happening only because everyone has been focused on the execution, and now execution can be done with LLMs. You have to prepare yourself for design thinking. You have to prepare yourself for problem solving skill set. You have to prepare yourself for structured thinking. And this is what is really important. Now, the question arises, how can I go on and become a problem solver in one day? How can I go on and use this decision processes or decision thinking in our job readiness? Understand this, you guys have been solving a problem, probably the same e-com problem, high return. You guys have gone and wrote the Python code. You guys have fetched the data. Now try to understand that what kind of variables and parameters that that data have. If you have all, if someone has already written the code, what kind of analysis they are doing, why they are doing that analysis, and what is your contribution in that, and from your contribution how much business impact it has created. Believe me, all those things comes very handy. When I started my career, probably at our time, knowing Python, at that point of time it was R programming, it was very relevant. But now we are moving towards, I'm again repeating, we are moving towards execution based economy to more decision based economy. So now the question is, if you guys can go on and create a create a process or create a business structure which will impact the business and help the business to grow X%, you will be much more valuable. Then you should know how to write down Python and SQL and any other things. Now, this is something, your intuitive power, your capabilities, the way you think, the way you design your LLMs comes very handy. And this is where, as an individual, who you are becomes very handy. Sometimes a learner comes to me and they'll be like, Sufi, I want to go on and do this. I want to go on and I want to do this. I'm like, see, if it doesn't comes naturally to you, don't spend your time. Like, for an example, I'm coming live and having a conversation with you. The only reason behind that I can go on and do without any preparation, like 10 minutes prior, I got intuitively that I have to come live and talk to you people. Talk. It comes naturally because for past 6 years, I'm conducting a live mentoring and live data sessions, and I'm teaching live. Like, hundreds of individuals are there, hundreds of learners are there. I'm teaching live in front of them, in front of camera. That is the reason it comes very easy for you. Now, if it is comes very easy for you, doesn't mean that it comes very easy for you people as well. Correct. So now to do that, what comes very easy and naturally to you, and that is where design thinking. And even if it is not coming, it might take 1 year for all of you or 6 months for all of you. But focusing on such kind of scenarios would be much more helpful. You can go on and talk to any of my learners. They will always say that this guy has simplified the concepts for us so that we can go on and learn in our stories. And this is what I think, this is the time in 2026 this comes true, that we are moving towards execution based economy to more about problem solving and thinking economies. We have been obsessed with data over a course of last decade. Now we are obsessed with models. And let me just go on and tell you, I was other day, I was in one of the meetups, in AI meetups here in Palo Alto, California. And I asked them, see, I'm building this LLMs. I went to the guy and I asked, see, I'm solving this LLMs. And that guy was like, okay, you're doing LLMs? I'm solving agents problem. I'm like, what is that agents problem? He's like, I know what is agent problem. I'm like, what agent problem you are solving? And he was like, Sufi, eh, we are more obsessed with models now, but models will only work when we have agents who actually works. In a real time, 80% agents fail. And that's what the entire, like, if you go on and talk to anyone over here in Silicon Valley, most of them are solving a problem how to make agents more accurate and more reliable and more usable. And that is basically the trend which we will go on and see in next 2 or 3 years. So with that, one thing, if I would like to go on and stop my life, how to become job ready, to be more design thinking, to be more problem solving skill set, understands how to solve a framework, all those things so that it will help you to become the kind of individual you will be, to shape the business outcomes, to shift the business outcomes, correct? To shift the outcome from 2% to 5%, reduce the return. So this all other things comes very handy. With that, I will stop my LinkedIn live for day two. We will meet next day, and then this conversation will keep going on for 21 days. And if you guys know or struggling any of the strategies, comment. Let me just go on and help you out with that as well. With that, thank you so much. See you in the next live. Bye bye.